YouTube, it's me, I'm Mama, coming to you with another quick review on Empire. It is going to be Empire Season 1, Episode 8, The Lyons Roar. I gotta tell you, they packed a whole lot of stuff into this episode. It's going to be hard for me to keep this less than 10 minutes, which is my goal, is to be 10 minutes. So let me just shut up and go on into it. It starts off at the courthouse as a flashback with Cookie, Jamal, and all the kids standing in the corridor. And the bailiffs walk up, and it looks like a lawyer too, maybe the prosecutor, I don't know. They come to tell her that the verdict is in and that she doesn't have much time to say hello, or to say goodbye to her children, because if the verdict is guilty, they're going to handcuff her and take her right away. Well, she's kissing all the boys and telling them how much she loves them and she'll never forget them, and they, all that kind of stuff. And she looks up at Lucius, and Lucius starts to sing "You're So Beautiful." Is it just me, or Terrence Howard can't sing, can he? Anyway, he can rap, I guess, but he can't sing. But anyway, he sings "You're So Beautiful." And they cut from that and then go to the bedroom scene where, because him and Cookie had just hooked up the night before. I guess it's the night before. So they go to the bedroom scene, and Cookie starts talking to Lucius, and she tells Lucius, you got to choose between me and Anika. She says, if you want Cookie's nookie, you got to ditch the bitch. And Lucius is like, okay, I think I can get rid of her. Yeah, I can get rid of her. But I'm sitting here thinking, why would he get rid of Anika? She knows too much. Plus, everything is hinging on his father. Her father with the IPO. So he can't just ditch Anika right now. But Cookie thinks he can and will, but we'll see how that turns out. Then Hakeem and Jamal meet in a Catholic church where it shows little Hakeem on his knees praying. He's praying for a miracle. He's saying to God that he knows that there's no cure for it, but would you please make a cure for my dad? I can't lose my dad. It was so heart-touching. It really was. So Hakeem and Jamal start to talk to each other, and they talk about singing on this new Legacy album, and they agree to sing together. Jamal says he'll sing it for his mom, and Hakeem says he'll sing it for the dad, and then they both agree to sing it for both of them, and I thought that was really touching. Then it switches over to the family actually in the studio singing the song. You're so beautiful. Go up, go up, go up. I go up, down, up, down, up, down. Anyway, I think I'm going to edit that part out. But anyway, they're singing the song together. First, it's just Jamal and Hakeem in the studio, and they're singing. And Cookie interrupts them just to tell them how good they're doing. And they suggest, well, why don't y'all come on and lay a few tracks with us? And they both agree to go, so they both go into the studio now. So you got four of them. You got the mama, the daddy, and the two youngest sons. Then it switches over, the camera just pans over to Polo Andre standing back in the shadows looking all dejected and sad. Why they didn't tell that boy to come in? He could have said a up, down, up, down, up, down or something, But they didn't do that. And you could tell he was really hurt by that. Excuse me. Then it goes from that and it cuts over to Lucius, where he's hiring a new photographer to film what is it called? A filmographer? Somebody to film and take pictures of his legacy documentary. His name is Ryan Morgan. Ryan turns out to be gay, and but he agrees to shoot the white party. Then, as they're making their agreement and they shook hands on it, and they didn't say how much that he was going to get paid, but the new guy Ryan did make sure that he was, he wasn't doing that for free. And Lucius was like, that's a man for you right there. I like that. Good business sense. Then Boo Boo Kitty walks in. Ryan walks out, and she starts making threats and demands. First thing she does, she says to Lucius is, why did you make my daddy fraudulate himself by signing that paper? You know you ain't in good health. And he was like, well, I did that for the company. And then she was like, well, is there something else you want to talk about? You sure you don't want to talk about you and Boo Boo Kid? You and Cookie hitting it last night? And he was like, you know how they get that stupid look on their face? Well, he got that stupid look on his face. And, of course, he turned around and, he had an excuse for it because he was vulnerable. He was vulnerable. So that's why him and Cookie supposedly hooked up that night. So she tells him, and she studies threatening him. She tells him if her father goes down, he's going down. And if you really love me, you're going to marry me tomorrow. He was like, tomorrow? What? Why tomorrow? And she agrees that they'll get married next week with one stipulation. At the white party, he must make an announcement about their wedding, and Cookie must be there. This is what what is her name? Doodoo Kitty said, that Cookie must be there when you make this announcement. It's like she's trying really hard to hurt Cookie or something. I don't know. Anyway, so it cuts over to Andre and Vernon. And them two, I still don't understand the dynamic between them two. Why is Vernon so dead convinced that Andre should be the CEO? I mean, what is it in it for Vernon? Is he afraid that if the next person comes along, they'll kick him to the curb, or what? What is it? I don't know. But anyway, he convinces Andre that if he is a temporary or contingent CEO, then it's just a step away from being the real CEO. But then again, like I said, I don't know why he's so convinced that they're going to do that. So all they got to do is get people to vote for him. So, it cuts over to Andre talking to Rhonda. Andre is trying to convince Rhonda to seduce some of the board members to vote for him. So he picks that one lady, Mrs. Blakely, and he tells Rhonda that Mrs. Blakely likes women more than she likes Mr. Blakely. So Rhonda's supposed to sleep with Mr. and Mrs. Blakely to try to get this vote? I don't know. Anyway, so they cut over, so they leave from that conversation. You could tell that Rhonda wasn't too happy about that, but she says, let me think about it, whatever. So they cut from there and go to Hakeem, who's finally getting a chance to talk to his mother. Now, y'all remember in one of my previous videos, I told y'all Hakeem was gonna soften up and start coming to his mother as a son. You know what I mean? And I think they're getting to that point now. So anyway, so Hakeem finally talks to his mom. He's in the studio laying down some tracks. She stops him and says, baby, you got to stop. You're on top of the music. You need to slow it down a little bit. Of course, Hakeem, being his brat self, throws a fit, throws the headset, and tells her to sing the song. Well, he comes out, and his mama and his daddy started yelling at him to get your little buddy, or get your spoiled ass over here. Get over here so we can talk. And he does. So Lucius, who is really milking this ALS thing, is saying, y'all know I'm sick and I'm about to die. Y'all gonna have to come together because I'm about to be dead. And then y'all gonna have to work with each other, so y'all gonna have to talk to each other. So he says, Hakeem, tell your mama why you don't like her. Hakeem, tell your mama why you don't like her. And Cookie is like, oh, Lord. So he starts saying, well, you're bossy. You boss me around. You walk around like you're running everything, like you're running the show. And Lucius was like, yeah, you do that. Yeah, you do that. Do that. So then Hakeem says, and you love Jamal more than you love me. And my heart just sank. You know, that's really sad that he would think that his mom loves his brothers more than than she loves him. But she goes over and talks to him, you know, and you can tell by the little softening of the jawline on Hakeem that where this was about to go. So she goes over there and tells him, it's not that I love Jamal any more than you. It's just that I know him better than you. And so the daddy said, well, can you get to know your mom? And he's like, nope. And she pops him on the back of the head. He smiles, you know, so I knew everything was going to be, that just warms my heart. Oh, so now they're talking. They're going to be mother and son again. So then, okay, so we skip over to the big night. It's the white party. No, I'm sorry. It's the night that Rhonda's going over to the Blakeleys to to try to convince Mrs. Blakely to vote for Andre. Well, they're sitting down at the table. Well, when she first walks in, Mr. Blakely is an old dude with long eyebrows. Not eyelashes, eyebrows that stick out to here. White hair, white eyebrows sticking out to here. He's in a wheelchair. So instantly she's not attracted to him. So he asks, would anybody enjoy a drink? And she's like, yeah, give me a scotch and make it a double. So he wheels on off to get the drink, and they cut over to them sitting at the table talking. Well, as they were talking, Mr. Blakely brings up the fact that some guy in some movie, I still don't know who that was, who was in a wheelchair when he made the movie, had ALS. And he has been living a long time with this ALS. So Rhonda's like, So he's got ALS. How is he sticking around so long? So Mr. Blakely explains to her, well, you know, some men in a wheelchair who can still get it up, still get an erection, and that just, she's like, anyway, and that there is a rare form of ALS that is debilitating, but it isn't fatal, and you can live with it for a long time. So, of course, her and Rhonda and her husband, Andre, are kind of looking at each other like, what? What? Okay. So, anyway, so Rhonda's already upset because she thinks she have to do it with this old man, and her stomach's already upset, and she's already gagging. And then one of the servers comes over and puts a big ass platter of beef stroganoff in her face, and it already looks like puke. She looks at it and she just can't hold it no more. She pukes in her salad. She puked in the salad. Oh my God, poor thing. She really got sick. So on the ride home, they leave from there. Of course, that's the end of the evening. They leave from there, and on the ride home, she actually tells Andre, you know what, I don't want to play this game with you no more. I'm your wife, and I don't want to be your geriatric whore anymore. And he was like, I thought you enjoyed playing these games. And she was like, well, from tonight, no, it's making me sick, and I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not going to be acting like your whore no more. And, of course, you know, he looks kind of weird about that because I think he's kind of spoiled, too. I think all them boys are spoiled. Anyway, so it cuts over to Jamal and the photographer, Raymond, what's his name? Ryan Morgan. So it cuts over to Ryan and Jamal. They go out for a drink, and as they're sitting down bonding with each other, Ray convinces Jamal to stop being ashamed of who he is, and if he's not going to do it for himself, then to do it for his daughter. So of course that planted a seed or put a bug in Jamal's ear about coming out, and he was already talking about coming out for a long time, as he was explaining to Ray. So it makes me wonder what's going to happen next, but we'll get to that. Anyway, so then after that, after they have their little conversation at the bar, like I said, they got so much going on in this episode. It's jumping from person to person to person, and then back to back, person, even though it's in different scenes. So it cuts away from that, and then it cuts over to Jamal and the baby. In her little, I call it a suite. I guess it would be considered a nursery because the little girl really ain't a baby, but she looks like she's about 4 or 5. Anyway, she's sitting at the table, and Jamal's doing everything he can to entertain her, and she just ain't having it. She's not having it. She wants her mama. And we all know, as children, how it is when we want our mother, and as mothers, when our children want us. We know how that feels. So anyway, so the little girl ain't happy. She wants her mom. She asks Jamal, is mommy coming back? And he tells her, yes, she's coming back. And he says, but in the meantime, I'll protect you. And she's like, from monsters too? I was like, oh, why is she thinking about monsters? Makes me wonder what kind of lifestyle they were having. But anyway, I might be reading too much into that. I don't know. But anyway, he says, this is all you got to do because you're a lion. You got to put your lip up like this and roar. Because a lion ain't afraid to let people see them roar. You need to take your own advice, Jamal. Anyways, so it cuts over to them singing. He's singing to her, The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Now, I forgot. I'm thinking, he was saying that his daddy used to sing him that song. Now, I forgot that song was out long before the Lion King movie. And so I'm thinking, how was his daddy singing him that song? He was too old when that movie came out. But then I remembered that song was out long before that movie. You know, in the jungle, the mighty jungle, we are momma way. Remember that? In the movie, it said "and me a momma way" in the movie, but I think in real life it just went to a weema way. So he had the little girl singing a weema way, and he started singing in the jungle, and it was so cute. Then it starts to pan out, and you can see her little foot tapping. She was tapping her little foot while she was trying to stay on beat. It was so cute. Anyway, the little girl is from Detroit. Wow. And I still don't know the child's name on the show. I'm going to have to Google it. All right. So after that, meanwhile, back at the Empire board meeting. All right. This is the day that they're taking the vote. So everybody's sitting around. All the board members are sitting around. Miss Blakely, some other people, Cookie, Lucius, Vernon. And, of course, they show Andre presenting himself as to why he should be the interim CEO. He makes a really valid point that he knows how his dad wants it run, and he would run it that way, and he would continue to run it that way in his absence if anything were to happen to his father. So, it goes around the room. Of course, Vernon makes his vote first, yay. Then it goes blam, 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 nay, blam, nay, blam, nay. Then some other guy, yay. Then Cookie, yay. Then Miss Blakely, nay. Then it comes to Lucius. Lucius said no. Lucius said no about his own son being the CEO. He didn't even vote for him. It was already a lopsided vote. Even if he had said yay, he still wouldn't have made it because it was a lopsided vote. It was more nays than yays, but he said no. Then Lucius got his ass up out of that chair and walked out. Just left everybody standing there. Left poor Andre standing there looking stupid. Then it cuts over to the white party. Cuts over, I mean, they're just cutting all over the place. You should see these notes. Cuts over to the white party. Everybody's looking all cute in their white dresses. I think the next time I get invited to a white party, I'm going to go this time. I ain't going to chicken out. Anyway, they sitting there having their little white party and everything looks so good. And then Anika walks in. Well, before they walk in, Cookie and Jamal are talking to each other. And Jamal is like, Mom, was you sleeping with my daddy? And she was like, wouldn't be the first time. But they started out talking about his placement and when he was going to sing the song and blah, 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 blah. So in comes Lucius and Boo Boo Kitty. They're looking fabulous. They really are. And the dress she's wearing is beautiful. Her hair is laid as usual. She's got these pretty earrings on. Y'all know I love pretty earrings, even though these are usually the only ones I wear because I don't ever take them off. But anyway, they're looking beautiful. All cameras and all eyes are on them. Click, 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 click. So Anika makes an announcement to everybody. Everybody, welcome to the white party. Make sure you stick around for later. There's going to be a huge announcement. And she looks over at Cookie like, yeah, bitch. So Cookie's like, okay, all right. So it cuts over to Cookie talking to Lucius, and she was like, what is this big announcement that she got to make? And Lucius is like, look, it ain't gonna happen. I'm not gonna leave her for you. We're gonna get married. She's like, you're gonna marry that bitch? Go to hell, Lucius. And they walk off. Okay. So it cuts over to Cookie going over there to talk to Anika. And Anika, of course, wants to strike first. So Anika tells her, you know, if you're trying to come over first, Cookie goes over there and congratulates her. She really does. I don't know how sincere it was. But they start walking hand in hand. And you know when that happens, somebody got some dirt. Okay. So she congratulates, Cookie congratulates Anika. And Anika strikes first by saying, well, if you're trying to tell me that you and Lucius hooked up the other night, oh, I'd already know about that. She was like, oh, okay, this is Cookie. Okay, so he told you about that, but I'm sure he told you he would never do it again. Did he tell you about the big reunion we had last night in the studio? Wink, wink, ha, ha. Of course not, because he had probably already told you he wouldn't do it again. And she walked away, of course, left Anika standing there looking stupid with her mouth hanging open. They got a knack for leaving people with their mouths hanging open, don't they? You be like, no, she didn't say that, but she really did. All right. So then it cuts away from that, and then it cuts over to Cookie and Camilla having a run-in. Of course, you know, Camilla is Granny, the one that Hakeem is dating. Well, this is the one that he calls Mama and Mother and Mommy and all that old, ooh, I don't get that dynamic. But anyway, Cookie and Camilla have a run-in. Cookie tells Camilla that she is too old for Hakeem, and Hakeem was like, Mama, chill. See, this is what I'm talking about. You're always trying to run things. I'm going to date who I want to. Either you with me or you ain't. And she was like, and then Camilla was like, and Jamal sings last, or you don't sing, or he doesn't sing at all. And she was like, excuse me, Yoko. Oh, no. What do you play? Oh, I get it. Oh, you want to be in the song, too. What do? Do you play the tambourine? So they go back and forth, and Camilla tells Cookie, you know, you better watch yourself. I'm not one of your little jailhouse bitches. And Cookie with her nasty, so you know what? Something happened with Cookie in them 17 years being in there, because she was like, looking her up and down. I wish you was, because you look like you got a long tongue. I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. And it shows little Jamal in the back, Hakeem in the background like, looking at both of them like, what in the hell is going on here? Anyway, after that, Lucius and Jamal talk. Lucius tells Jamal to go ahead on and sing his song. So Jamal tells his daddy, well, I'm going to sing your song. You're so beautiful. He says, but I rearranged it a little bit. And his daddy's like, Lucius is like, okay, yeah, sing it. You are a lion. I want you to put your emotions in that song. Tell your story in that song. Lucius wasn't thinking about what he was really saying when he was saying that. Was he? He couldn't have been. Because he's telling the boy that he's been denying his whole life to go ahead and tell everybody what he's thinking in his music by using his own song. Really? So Jamal's like, okay, cool, because I made my own I rearranged your song. I'll sing that. So he does. What did I just say? He rearranges the song. He rearranges You're So Beautiful. So it cuts over to him on stage. Jamal is up there singing. We go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Shake fast. And he's singing about the manicure. You ain't got no manicure. I love you anyway. You got baby fat. That's okay. I love you anyway. Blah, 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 blah. This is the type of song that makes a man, loves a man. Ooh, and he does the little pop-out thing. And I was like, oh, my God. The boy that came out. Switches on. And the camera just pans the room looking at all his relatives. It goes up to Andre. And Andre's like, Jamal just came out. Vernon is like, my boy. You know, Hakeem gave him the high five with the wine glass, and his mama, of course, she's ecstatic. She's screaming, Jamal, my baby, that's my baby. Pans over to Lucius, who was just doing one of these numbers, dancing to the song like everybody else was. But I will admit, there was some old heads that was in that crowd. When that little verse came out, this is the song that makes a man love a man, they was like, whoop. They wasn't dancing to too much no more. But then as the song went on, they got back into it and they was dancing again. Some old heads, some old G's, some old ladies, you know, and they was like, But the song is kind of catchy. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Then it pans back up to Lucius. And Lucius is like that. It was another mouth gaping open moment. He wasn't happy at all. It pans around the room. Everybody else is still jamming, Cookie jamming, Vernon jamming, everybody jamming. At the end of the song, Jamal on the stage, sweating with his hand up in the air like he was so victorious. But his daddy was pissed. He was pissed. He was pissed. He was pissed. He was furious. At that point right there, they should have changed Lucius's name to Furious, because he was mad. He was furious. But anyway, so it pans out of that. It goes to a commercial. And you know, I was so thankful for that commercial, because after that I had to pee. I know, I did. So anyway, so commercial's over. I'm running back up. Finish watching it. When it comes back on, it's the next day, I guess. I guess it's the next day. Lucius is still having his little feelings. He's still upset. He walks into Empire wearing all black. He was in mourning. He was in shiver. Lucius was sitting shiver for his pride, because he sure lost it all when his boy came out as being gay. He really did. So Lucius walks through. All of the TV monitors in the office building are on the news channels, and everybody's talking about how Lucius' son came out, blah, 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 blah. Lucius ain't very happy about it. He is not very happy about it. So they switch over, and I might have it a little mixed up, but in essence, this is what happens. He goes and talks to Andre and tells Andre why he doesn't trust him. He thinks that he tells Andre why he didn't vote for him to be CEO is because he doesn't trust him. He thinks that Andre and Vernon and a whole lot of people have collaborated or contrived or whatever you call it behind his back. Then Lucius goes in there and talks to Cookie and asks Cookie, you know, did you talk to Anika about any of this? And Cookie's like, no. So anyway, he tells her how betrayed he is, and she's like, listen, the boy came out and nothing changed. You still Lucius, he's still Jamal, we're still we, and us is us, and the music is still the music. And he was like, I don't give a hell about none of that. The legacy thing is over, because this is not a family. Like, why is this not a family? The boy's still part of your family. He's like, no, this ain't no family. We done. The legacy thing is over. And he walks out, and when he walks out, When he walks out, it cuts over to Cookie, and she has a flashback. She looks at that little picture that she keeps over there on the little desk. It's the picture of them sitting on a sofa, her and her man and all the kids back in the day. And she starts hearing that song, You're So Beautiful. And when it goes back to her flashback, she's in the prison. And it goes from the picture in the frame to the picture being on the wall. Well, it shows the picture on the wall, and then it pans down to her laying on the cot. She's laying there in her prison clothes, and she's just laying there with her prison boat shoes on, and she started singing, You're so beautiful. And it pans out, and all you can hear is her singing that in an echo. It's like an echo of her voice going down this long, dank, dark hallway full of bars. And all you see is bars and rolls of toilet paper. Walls and, bars and rolls of toilet paper. Am I saying toilet paper? Bars and rolls of toilet paper. And I don't know if that's what the prisons really look like, but it was a very sad thing to see. It really made me feel a certain way, especially with her voice echoing in the background. You're so beautiful, I'll wait for you. So I can imagine that that's probably what helped her get through. But anyway, after it goes to that, it goes to a commercial, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, and I forgot to tell you that when Lucius is telling Andre why he's not going to leave the business to him, he tells Andre that, I'm not trying to leave my business to you because you're trying to tear this family apart. I'm going to leave my business to somebody who loves my family. Cookie. That's the only one I can think about because the show ain't Doo-Doo Kitty. Anyway, so it cuts over to Hakeem. Hakeem goes to Jamal's house. Jamal starts talking business first, and Hakeem is like, no, that's all cool, but that's not why I came here. I came here to tell you how proud I am of you, man, for what you did. And Jamal is like, what I did wasn't stupid. He was like, no, man, I'm proud of you. That was the strongest thing I've ever seen, man. I'm proud of you. From brother to brother, and they hugged each other, and I was like, oh, that is so special. Then it cuts over to Andre. I'm just going to ask you 3 little questions. Number 1 is, why is Andre sitting there with a gun pointed to his damn fool head and then hollering and screaming like a fool? I know the boy is bipolar, but come on, this is a bit much. Somebody please, no, we can't let this happen. I mean, of course I know it's a TV show, but that can't happen. Somebody's got to intervene. And then here's question number 2. Why is Anika at Blakeleys' house? Number 3. Has she been going behind Lucius's back all along with Blakeleys, or is this just her way of getting back at Lucius? Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. Well, it showed in the previews that it was going to be a standoff and everybody got all their guns. And it also shows that they confront Anika from going to Blakeleys' house. But how does Cookie know that she went to Blakeleys' house? Well, it makes me flash back to the time in the elevator when Cookie was telling Portia, I can give you some extra money. I got a way, to tell you. So have something been going on behind the scenes between Anika and Portia, and maybe Portia was privy to some information because she's been actually working for Anika, but not really. Is it that even though she took Anika up on her offer, that she also told Cookie about it from the beginning, so she's been playing against Anika with Cookie's permission just to get information, but Anika don't know it? I don't know. I've been right so far with my questions and wonder whys. We'll see. Alright, so that's the end of my Empire Season 1, Episode 8, The Lyons Roar of Empire. Alright, y'all. Y'all have a good one. And that was fun. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye. How you turn this off? Oh.